Greetings and welcome to another episode of
Star Map.
Let's Play Imperium Galactica. Alright, let's pause the game for a moment. So this is pretty much the final mission before the next promotion. And it is a bit of a tough one, really, because this is kind of the first time you have to face a battle against a true fleet without any help. Because within the prototype fleet, even though it just says the destroyer itself, it is actually escorted by an entire fleet of Garthok ships. Now, the battle itself has been made a bit easier by heavy scripting, but even so, you shouldn't underestimate it. Now let's quickly check what my fleet is about. And my fleet is kinda pants. I'll add the new fighters.
Bridge.
And let's see if the colonel will give me some more reinforcements.
Our resources are not unlimited. If you would take care of the ships I send you, you wouldn't need any more.
Nope. Nope, we're totally on our own. Alright, so let's have a look at the production. Alright, so we've got 6 smaller fighter 2s. And I don't think I can order any more destroyers. Oh well, anyway, let's continue on.
Star Map. Planets.
Are there any colonies?
Colony information.
Any colonies that are in dire need of something? They probably need another food factory. Yeah, as does Naxos. I might as well build it. Another hydroponic food farm. If I can slot it in somewhere.
Colony information.
Let's see. New Caroline is fine.
Colony.
So just send Sterling now. This isn't exactly necessary, but it will ensure that I will not forget. Now we have some time to prepare. After all, the prototype is only moving at speed 10, which is basically almost as slow as any of the traders. The traders move at variable speeds, but I believe the slowest is speed 8, probably. Yeah. Meanwhile, our fleet moves at speed 28. And I'm quite content to wait until all the fighters have finished production. And let's add another destroyer.
Equipment. Production.
We will also need more laser.
Bridge. Star Map.
I very much doubt it will finish before it arrives, but let's speed up the production.
Equipment. Production.
Also would need a shield.
Equipment. Star Map.
Alright, well, this is it. Let's go in. Now again, we get to choose our deployment with our back to the planet. Let's basically pick the deployment that is the farthest away from the enemy forces. Now the reason why this battle is a bit difficult is because I don't really have the firepower and weaponry capable of taking out the bigger ships like the flagships that the Garthoks are using. Fortunately for me, the Garthoks are not gonna handle this very intelligently, which is what if they essentially move all their ships at once, I'd lose. No other way about it. But they're not gonna do that. Right, Gartorks, retreat while you still can. Let us pass, Earthling, and you may yet live. I'd rather teach you to dance. Prepare to die. Alright. Now, as you can see from the statistics here, I have more ships, but I have almost only half the firepower. This is not gonna be fun. Alright, let's make sure that my ships are actually somewhat equidistant. Now he's gonna send out his fighters first, which is a dumb maneuver. Once the fighters are done, he sends out his destroyers. And launches missiles. And that's full power on that. Now it is important that I don't move in all myself. That would be dumb. I really need to wait until he comes to me. Otherwise his forces will engage me all at the same time. Now I kinda need to force him to focus his firepower on my fighter craft. And let's actually switch to a view that might be more... Oh, I just swapped the windows, that's not what I meant. Let's see. Yeah, north is crew, but it's quite heavily damaged. Alright, that one's dead. So again, we'll move my capital ships back. And have the fighters move forward. And then we engage. Now my heaviest hitter is still my cruiser, the Terminator. But unfortunately my cruiser is badly damaged, its shielding is pretty much taken out. And I just don't have the real firepower, because the heaviest hitting gun on my destroyer is the ion gun, and I only have one of those. That's not very useful. But let's see what we can do. But once you've broken through the enemy ships, battle is pretty much over, because the destroyer that they stole doesn't have any weapons on them. And this battle is over. Now we just need to keep it from escaping. Message from a pilot. Great work! If the Garthlogs had gotten their hands on that invention, who knows what damage they could have done. Rating outstanding, promotion to commander. Not bad. And I lost just 13 fighters. That's almost half, but still.
We have received a message.
I must congratulate you on your success. Command appreciates the job you've done. And I've some good news for you. I'll fill you in at the briefing. Why don't you meet me at Scorpion 4?
Yay. Cutscene time!
This is Scorpion 4, requesting identification. This is Transport 67, Captain Dante speaking. Registration code AK470829. Your destination? I'm going to debrief Colonel Douglas. Code clear. Prepare to land in dock 228, level 23. Welcome to Scorpion 4, sir.
Commander Hicks, report to Room 5. Commander Hicks, report to Room 5. Technical Assistant Hudson, please go to block number 4. Technicians report to Deputy Officer Myron. Technicians report to Deputy Officer Myron. Engineer Banner, please report to Drive Subassembly 3. The cooler systems have malfunctioned. Engineer Banner to Drive Subassembly 3. Captain Dante, report to Center 2 for debriefing. Captain Dante, report to Center 2 for debriefing.
Welcome, Dante. Allow me to introduce the rest of the War Council to you. Professor Sakai Keiko. She's a geneticist specializing in alien races. You know McLaughlin, our chief diplomat. Kiriam Durham, our leading military advisor.
This is your new command. You will be responsible for the administration of all colonies in your sector. Your mission is to stop the Garthog encroachment on our space. Their expansions threaten the stability of our empire. Your new command is a Mammoth-class flagship. You have also been put in charge of research and development for the colonies. The size and composition of your fleet will now be entirely up to you.
Bridge.
Yay! We have a flagship! Oh, this is always such a satisfying moment in the game. This is pretty much at this point, I'd say the tutorial is almost completely over, because from this point forward, the difficulty level is no longer held back arbitrarily by set missions of some sort. Let's have a quick look at the star map while we're doing that. As you can see, space is now bigger. A lot bigger. Now I will usually not use this view, but for now this will actually do. As you can see, our actual space of control has been slightly expanded. We now have control over Zuzon as well. We'll have a look at that one later. Here's our fleet.
Equipment.
It now has a flagship in it called the Executor. The Executor is probably better. And that's pretty much all we have. Now, getting the flagship is quite important because
Star map.
even though we did have these planets were in range, we couldn't attack them as much as I might have wanted to. Because in order to transport troops, or tanks in this case, you need flagships for their carrying capacity. Now, up until now, the Garthok Empire has actually been relatively peaceful. You can believe me or not on that, it is true. They've not actually attacked us in any real way beyond scripted events. From this point forward, however, they will attempt to conquer all the planets within their range. Which is basically Naxos, Achilles, San Sterling and Centronome if they can get to it. We cannot allow that. So we have to strike back first. Now, part of the difficulty of this game comes from your speed of action, basically. Because from the moment you start the mission, actually the ultimate enemy in the game, called the Darksland, which is basically a race that invades our galaxy from outside it, has been building up. And they have been doing that all the while I'm playing. Now, up until this point, I have not been able to determine the pace of the game. The pace has been determined for me by the missions. But my ability to actually take on the Darksland depends on how quickly I can remove the Garthlogs. Because as soon as I do that, I move up into the next rank level.
Bridge.
We also have lost some of our crutches. Like, for instance, we no longer have the ability to call the Colonel for help, because technically we outrank him, I think. It's a bit foggy to me, because I don't know the full range of commands. As Commander we cannot. We can, however, ask the colonies what their situation is. There's no real point in doing that right now, because frankly nothing is going on. No, that's pretty much all there is. Alright, and we can now do research. It's also a little bit important to show that off. I do like these animations, but you'll skip over them most of the time.
Research.
Now, research and design. This is fairly simple enough. I've already shown you some of the research and development buildings that were already established on the planet. And each invention you can develop tells you what they exactly need in order to develop it. Like, for instance, if we needed to research the missile, we'd need a mech development center. And the rest we already have. And that's pretty much all you need in it. But that basically means that you need to have enough planets to support them, because you can only build one development center per planet, with the exception of one other planet we don't currently have. But that, I believe that's probably an error. Anyway, so we'll have to keep building and demolishing development centers as we go along, because we simply do not have the planets in order to do whatever we need to do. Like, for instance, I would love to upgrade to pulse lasers, because they are just that awesome. But I would need 2 mech centers and 2 mill centers. That would so basically I would need 5 planets. Now, I do have 5 planets, but some of them do not have development centers just yet. So right now I just need to think about what I really need, and preferably to do it with the least amount of destruction of resources I already have, because it takes time to build these darn things and they consume a lot of resources, but they are important. Like, for instance, I would love the solar plant, because it's just so good, or the food factory, spelled with a PH, because it's fat. No, I don't know why that is. I guess it just sounds interesting. Originally I did not understand that the P and the H together would spell, it would actually sound like the word F. So the food factory for me always sounded a little bit weird. But there's also military developments, like the inversion shield. It's basically a planetary shield that protects your colony guns. But these are all a little bit in the distance, because for one thing this requires 7 planets to have exactly those things. Right now that's not really important. Let's see if there's anything we can develop without building more stuff. Fighter 3s, nope. Now, I cannot build the Destroyer 2s, despite the fact that we recently fought one of them as a prototype, because we need a pulse laser. What about the cruiser? We need more mech. Alright, so building more mech development centers is probably a good idea. The flagship we can build. Well, actually, no, the flagship we cannot currently build because we need a construction space station for that. Let's see. We have one survey satellite and we can build those. Alright, so we definitely need a 1 mech for the spy satellite, which we'll need in order to see what the enemy is doing. Yeah, see, we need the orbital factory as well, so I need at least 1 civ and 1 mech. Now the orbital factory is important because otherwise we cannot build the supermassive ships, like the flagships. There's no equipment to research. Pulse laser. I need the ion guns, we need as well. The medium tanks we'll definitely need. And the rocket sleds are useful but not important. Let's see, shields, hyperdrives. The hyperdrive is definitely important. Indeed, we need more mech for that. The cargo pod we need if we want to launch a successful invasion of any planet. Let's see, the field array requires a little bit too much stuff right now. Alright, well that's it for this episode.
Bridge.
Thank you for watching, and see us all next time when I actually unpause the game and we start doing stuff.
Local.